Imagine if the stakes weren't just about fighting off disassembly drones or discovering the origins of the solver, but also about handling an unexpected bout of diarrhea. While it might sound far-fetched, let's delve into an intriguing theory. What if 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀 got diarrhea during the recording of episode 8, the end of the line? This theory explores how such a situation could affect the characters and the story, drawing on references from the entire first season of Murder Drones. The premise: a sudden gastrointestinal crisis. In episode 7, Mass Destruction, the season builds up to a dramatic climax with 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀 facing the endgame of their journey. As we know, the tension and chaos of their environment could lead to various scenarios. But what if, amidst the fierce battles and life-threatening situations, they had to deal with a severe case of diarrhea? Let's explore how this hypothetical situation could affect their mission and character dynamics. 1. The fallout from previous episodes. Episode 1, Pilot. The series kicks off with a tense atmosphere as 𝓉𝒽𝒃 battles her first disassembly drone and reveals the depth of her defiance against the oppressive Jensen regime. From the beginning, the show establishes that 𝓉𝒽𝒃 is a resourceful and tough character. If 𝓉𝒽𝒃 had diarrhea, it would be a significant contrast to her hardened persona. The initial confrontation with Jae and the killing of Jae with her railgun might have been complicated by such a personal issue, adding a layer of vulnerability that contradicts her fierce introduction. Episode 2, Home. In this episode, 𝓉𝒽𝒃 begins to embrace her role in the fight against the disassembly drones. If she had been suffering from diarrhea, her attempts to navigate through the post-apocalyptic environments of 𝓉𝒃𝓃𝓀 and her interactions with V would have been made even more difficult. The desperate scavenging and the emotional weight of her father's condition would be overshadowed by the physical discomfort of her condition. Episode 3, Cabin Fever. Cabin fever introduces us to the cabin fever cathedral and the ancient conflict here. 𝓉𝒽𝒃's diarrhea would have been a significant hindrance as she explores the ruins and deals with the grim realities of the world. Navigating the cathedral's dangerous corridors and fighting off the threat of the disassembly drones would have been nearly impossible if she were struggling with such a debilitating condition. Episode 4, Dead End. By this point, 𝓉𝒽𝒃 is deep in the conflict, grappling with the morality of her actions and the tragic loss of her mentor V. Her diarrhea would add a layer of physical struggle to her. The intense scenes, including her confrontation with V's hologram and the ensuing chaos, would have been marked by her urgent need to find relief while trying to maintain her composure. Episode 5, Rebirth. In Rebirth, 𝓉𝒽𝒃 deals with the aftermath of the chaos unleashed in cabin fever. If she had been suffering from diarrhea, her journey would have been far more complicated. The episode's exploration of her psyche and the nature of her conflict with the disassembly drones would be framed by her physical discomfort. The emotional and physical exhaustion from her diarrhea could have intensified her despair and feelings of isolation. Episode 6, Breach. The dramatic escape from 𝓉𝒃𝓃𝓀 and the introduction of Sin as the main antagonist would have been significantly impacted by 𝓉𝒽𝒃's condition. Her struggle to keep up with N and avoid the disassembly drones while managing diarrhea would add a comic yet tragic element to her attempts to escape and strategize against Sin. Episode 7, Mass Destruction. As the stakes are highest, 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀 face the wrath of the absolute silver and uncover the truth about 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀. 𝓉𝒽's condition here would complicate their battle, making her fight against the solver and her interactions within fraught with both physical and emotional challenges. The moment where she decides to sacrifice herself would be rendered all the more desperate if she was also dealing with a gastrointestinal crisis. 2. How diarrhea could affect the plot of Episode 8. The beginning of the episode. At the start of Episode 8, we see 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀 dealing with the aftermath of their battles and the personal revelations of mass destruction. If 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀 had diarrhea, their attempts to prepare for the final confrontation would be marked by their urgent need to find a bathroom or dealing with the effects of their condition. 𝓉𝒽 might be seen attempting to hide her discomfort as she devises a plan to confront sin, and might be dealing with the symptoms while trying to manage the chaotic environment of the labs. The climax of the episode. During the intense final battle, 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀's diarrhea would introduce a level of absurdity to the high-stakes confrontation. Their physical discomfort would be a constant distraction, possibly leading to 𝓉𝒽's moment of bravery in throwing N out of the labs would be driven by a combination of her desire to save him and her urgent need to relieve her condition, and might struggle with both fighting sin and managing his own symptoms, leading to a more desperate and disjointed fight scene. The resolution. By the end of the episode, the focus would shift to 𝓉𝒽 floating in space. This final scene could be used to show the relief of their physical ailment, mirroring the emotional relief of their victories and losses. 𝓉𝒽 might reflect on her sacrifices and the strange turn of events that led to her current predicament, adding a surreal and humorous undertone to her situation. 3. Thematic implications. Murder Drones explores themes of survival, sacrifice, and personal growth against a backdrop of dystopian chaos. Introducing diarrhea as a subplot would highlight vulnerability. It would underscore that even the strongest characters have their weaknesses. Add comic relief. The absurdity of the situation could provide a break from the intense drama, similar to moments of dark humor in other media. Enhance character depth, showing 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀 dealing with a personal crisis in addition to their external conflicts would deepen their characters and make them more relatable. 4. References to previous episodes. Episode 1, the first introduction of 𝓉𝒽 as a formidable character would be juxtaposed with her struggle against diarrhea. Episode 2, the emotional weight of her father's condition would be compounded by her physical discomfort. Episode 3, her journey through the cathedral would be made more challenging by her need to find a bathroom. Episode 4, the emotional intensity of 𝓉's loss would be accompanied by 𝓉𝒽's physical struggle. Episode 5, her isolation and mental struggle would be paralleled by her physical ailment. Episode 6, her flight from Copper 9, would be fraught with both physical and existential crises. Episode 7, the culmination of her efforts, would be marked by the added difficulty of managing her condition. Conclusion. This theory, while speculative and humorous, serves as a creative lens through which to explore the characters and plot of Murder Drones. It shows how 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀's potential diarrhea could add layers of complexity and relatability to the story, altering key moments and thematic elements from the entire season. By examining how such a condition might affect the character's actions and decisions, we gain new insights into the challenges they face and the resilience they display. This theory also demonstrates how even the most intense and dramatic scenarios can be influenced by the mundane and humorous aspects of human experience. Whether as a thought experiment or a humorous aside, the idea of 𝓉𝒽𝒃𝓃𝓀 battling diarrhea during the climax of episode 8 offers a fresh perspective on the series' narrative and thematic structure.